Now I want to show you how you can record audio to a track. So I've got my guitar going into my audio device. It's plugged into input 2, and this way I'll be able to record my guitar into the software. And to add an audio track, I just need to go up to the track menu up over here, and here are all the different options of tracks available. Or I can right click on the track list area over here, and it brings up a dialog window with the different track options. Well, the option that I really like is I can just simply double click the track list area here. It brings up the add tracks dialog window, and I can specify the track type. So this will be guitar 1 because I'm going to record 2 different guitars. The type is audio, the count is 1, and I'm going to keep it set at mono. I don't want to use any presets, but this is the important part, the input. Let me first jump back and show you how you set up your inputs for this song. So I'm going to cancel this, and I'm going to go to the Studio One Preferences menu, and then down to Song Setup over here, and then across to the Audio Input and Output Setup tab. And this shows all the available inputs on my device and gives it these default names, which I don't really like. I'm going to go in and remove these and add some new inputs. So I'm going to add 2 mono inputs, and now they're called input 1 and input 2. So input 1 is going to input 1 on my device, and input 2 to input 2. I like this. This is pretty cool. I can always come back and change the naming at a later stage if I want. So I'm going to click apply and then OK. So now when I add a track again, let me just go over those same details again. That'll be guitar 1, it's mono. And now when I go to the inputs, it's got the new naming. And my guitar is going to input 2, so I'll select that. And it's going to my main output, which is perfectly fine. Click OK. So here's my first guitar track. Now if I arm the monitor button and the record arm, you'll hear the guitar. So that's the guitar going into the box. It's got a clean tone, but I want to add some amp simulation to give some grit and distortion to it. So this is pretty cool. I can do this in the mix console. I'm just going to press F3 to bring this up. Now here's that same track in the mix console. And if I click this, it'll expand to show the inserts and sends for that track. And this amp simulation is going to be added as an insert effect. So if I click this plus button over here, it shows all the plugins that are installed on my system. Or if I click this option over here, it shows presets that are available that I can use. But what I find is even easier is to open up the browse panel and just simply drag and drop the plugin or effect from there onto the track. So I've opened up the browse panel, and this is the guy I want to use here, Ampire. So I can just drag and drop that onto the track, and it loads up the user interface. So this is the amp I've pulled up over here. It's already sounding a bit better, but I just want to amp with a bit more crunch. So I'm going to go for the American Crunch head. Let's check that out. Yeah, that's better. And I also want to change the cabinet option. I'm going to go for the American 4x12 cab. That's sounding cool. I just want to drop the drive a bit and also the mids and increase the treble. Let's check that out. Cool, that's sounding better. The beauty with amp simulation software is I can always go back later and tweak the settings if I want to. So let me just close the browse panel and mix console with F5 and F3. Now let me enable the metronome or click so I've got a sense of timing when I'm recording the audio. You turn it on down here, or you can use the shortcut C to turn it on and off. And now when I hit the record button, it'll start playback with the click and I can record my parts in. Or even better, I can use the shortcut of the star on my numpad to start the recording process. So here we go. Cool, that's enough recorded for now. And I'm just going to press 0 to jump back to the beginning of the song. Now what's even better is to record in a second guitar part duplicating this. So I'm going to double click over here to create a new track. I'm going to name this one Guitar 2 and make sure it's going to input 2 as well. Cool, so I've got my second guitar over here. Whoops, that's my number one error there. Make sure that you unarm the one track and then arm the next track. And the same for this track. I'm going to open up the mix console. I'm just going to minimize the first guitar track and then expand the inserts on the second one and drag in an instance of Ampire. And on this instance, I want to add a slightly different amp so it differentiates it from the other track. I'm going to add the Drive British amp head, and I'll keep the 4x12 British cab. Let's hear how this sounds. Wow, that's a bit loud, so I'm just going to turn that down. I'm going to take the drive down quite a bit. The bass I'm happy with. Now let's hear how this sounds. That's pretty cool. I can always change it later, like I said. Now what works pretty well with guitar is to take the one track and pan it all the way to the left and then the other to the right, and it just gives this nice stereo image of the guitars. Cool, let's close the mixer and see how this is going to sound. That's sounding pretty good, I like that. And now one more thing I want to show you. As you can see with these audio tracks, I can't see them in view. So here's some shortcuts that are really handy to navigate around the interface. If I hold down Shift and scroll with the mouse wheel, it'll scroll horizontally. And if I use Command on the Mac or Control on the PC and scroll up and down with the mouse wheel, this zooms in and out vertically. And if I use Shift and Command or Shift and Control, I can scroll and get this into view. So that's how to record audio to a track. Next, let's take a look at how to edit the audio.